How's it going, everybody? So, I got this little guy for Christmas. It is the Japanese-style ceramic coffee brewer that also operates as the filter. So it's just porous enough to let coffee come through. And I'm super excited to try it. This is my first time. And this is actually my first reaction to making the cup. I want to explain the process and how I felt about the process, but I don't want this to get cold. So I think I'm gonna try this first, tell you my thoughts about it, maybe ways I could improve, and then talk a little more after that. So here we go. Okay. All right. So I have my thoughts. I'm gonna save my thoughts until after I kind of explain what's going on with this thing and my brewing process. So this is certainly not a new invention. It's been around for a while, but you don't really see it making the rounds in specialty coffee when it comes to brewers' cups, or even honestly in a lot of coffee shops. In specialty coffee shops, you don't really see these guys very much. And I don't know if there's necessarily a reason why. Like I said, I've only made one cup of coffee, and it was that one. And I'm sure there's lots of user error. So let's kind of unpack this thing a little bit. First off, the drawdown phase is remarkably slow. You definitely want to go a lot coarser because you don't want the contact time to just linger for super long. And so I definitely, on my Comandante, I went about 35 clicks. So what I would go with a French press, I put into this thing. And besides that, I brewed it kind of like a V60. Funny enough, I actually brewed it in my V60 because I don't have a little mount for this thing. It didn't come with it. So I just figured I'll just put it in my V60. There's still plenty of space between this particular filter brewer thing and the V60. So it shouldn't really have issues with clogging, or at least not additional issues. So I did 14 grams in, and then I kind of went about, I think 40 or 50 grams on the bloom. And then after that, I put in 220. And I tried not to be too gentle with the pour because I knew that this thing was going to take a little while in the drawdown phase. Because at the very beginning, I rinsed this filter, just put a bunch of water through it. A, to rinse it out, but B, to also kind of get a feel for what this is going to be like brewing. And it definitely opened my eyes to a couple of things where it's like, all right, I'm definitely going to not want to, fiddle with this thing. I definitely want to try to get water through this as fast as I can because this thing's not going to help me very much. So all things considering, it went really well. I don't think I would have changed the coarseness of the grind very much. There was a problem though, like towards the end of the brewing phase, it just started dripping. It was not going very far. The flow rate was pretty solid at the start, but then it got really, really slow at the end. And that is when you're gonna get a lot of those bitter flavors starting to be added into your coffee. And I actually want to make a video on like how to save your your cup of coffee while you're brewing it, because there's a few things that you can do to avoid that, and one of them is honestly just stop making coffee. Like get the water and the grounds out of there and just be content with what you've got, because everything in there's already been brewed and it's not going to have included some of those over-extracted flavors into your cup. So I kind of abandoned ship at the very end of this. I was like, okay, I don't want to wait much longer because I don't want this thing to get too dark and bitter. So I kind of just threw out the grounds in the water, and I ended up with, I poured in 220 grams. I got about 180 grams of coffee. So all things considering, not too bad. Now, I'm going to tell you how I feel about the flavor. I'm going to keep drinking my coffee while I do this because it's the morning and I feel like it. I'm so often, very often skeptical of myself that I'm not just tasting things because I know how it was brewed. There is sort of this earthy taste that does kind of feel like I'm getting flavors from the filter itself, which makes sense. Heat definitely kind of would extract potential flavors from it. But there is sort of like a earthiness, like a depth to it that's not normally in this cup of coffee. One more second. Even in the smell, even in the aroma, I can kind of, there's just a different flavor to it. It's not bad, it just is. Let me go again. Yeah, there's a taste to it for sure. And I don't know if that taste will kind of not really be as present or as prevalent the more I rinse it and the more that I clean it. But I definitely do get a little something from it. It's not bad. It's not a bad cup of coffee. It's just a little different. And I don't know if I would call it better or worse. I could definitely be in a mood for this type of coffee, that's for sure. Now, let me say something else. Apparently, cleaning this thing is not a lot of fun. You want to do it as soon as possible. You want to get the grounds out of there, and you want to put hot water in, and you don't want to use stuff like a cloth or tissue or a paper towel or anything like that, because it catches. It's very, very coarse, and it's like Velcro, where it'll want to grab stuff. So you want to just use your hand. I have a scrubber with like bristles on it that I'm considering using potentially, depending on the situation. But today I just used hot water in my hands, and I went at for a little while, and I think I did all right. But yeah, all things considering, it's not a very high maintenance cup of coffee. I really am excited to keep experimenting with it because I'm enjoying this. There's really only so much that I can break down right now when it comes to the coffee. I think I'd like to do a side-by-side comparison video at some point too of this coffee filter. But yeah, I'm definitely willing to keep giving this a shot. And if you have any thoughts on it, or if you've experimented with it and have any tips for me, please let me know. I'd be very interested in trying it. But yeah, I think that's gonna about do it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and whatever you do and wherever you are, I hope you're drinking excellent coffee, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.